Good afternoon. So today we will talk about how to prepare a resume. It will be a step-by-step guide. In term, it will be a step-by-step guide to the freshers. So, do you know the difference among resume, profile, and CV? Any idea?
Sir,
Go ahead.
sir, it, can you, sir, start recording this lecture?
Yes, I'm starting. I already started. No, it will be available.
Sir,
I'll upload in the YouTube. Then you will be able to see that.
okay, sir.
Yeah. Anybody? Do you know the difference
Uh,
among resume,
sir,
profile, and CV? Yes.
resume is like a very short summary of your experiences and the work you have done, whereas CV is like a very detailed summary of what all you have done and what all degrees you have got, and and it has got more information.
Okay.
Also, like resume is only like a one-page,
Mm-hmm.
very small info about yourself, whereas CV is like can be multiple pages long.
Then what is profile then?
Sir, I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, no problem. Anybody else? Have you heard about profile? Yeah, what you have given is correct. So resume in general it should not exceed 2 pages. It's a short resume should be in lengthwise it should be short. In general, resume is used by the freshers whenever there is experienced candidate. Normally they'll have so much of information to add in their info what you call resume. So when it exceeds more than 2 pages, so they have to make it as a curriculum vitae. CV means curriculum vitae. And profile is it is one-page sheet where it will have a very basic information about your name, father's name, probably some contact details, some very basic information. Profile generally used to by unskilled labor. For a general, I assume that a driver, probably a conductor, he wants to get a job. In general, they'll give a one-page profile with their name, contact address, driving license number, and other detail. It will not exceed more than 1 page. A resume, in general, it should be 2 pages, but there are modern resumes. It will go with only 1 page with the design layout. I'll be showing in the end. And at the max, absolutely it should not exceed 3 pages, but it is better always the max should be the 2 pages. Worst case scenario, you can go to the third page, not more than that, definitely. And which one freshers have to prepare? Absolutely, freshers have to prepare only resume. They don't require to prepare a CV because they'll not have such kind of information. What is accepted length of resume, CV, and profile? As I already told you, accepted length of resume is officially and professionally it is accepted to have 2 pages. CV it is innumerable. Any number of pages you can have. There is no limit for CV. And profile in general 1 page. Probably it required it can go to the second page, but in general it is only 1 page. What are the types of resume? The resume will have probably in the types means it will be only one type, that is based on the experience. Probably you can have a fresher resume and experienced people resume. Probably when, as I already told you, that experienced people need to use only CV, not resume, but still you may wonder why do they need to use resume. In case they will be able to condense all the information within 2 pages of their resume, that is well and good, they can do that. For example, I have a 50 papers as published, I have published. In that case, probably in the resume I can mention as I have published so far 50 papers. Detail, refer this website. In that way, I can give the key information alone in the resume, so even experienced person can prepare a resume. That is, one is experienced resume, another one is a fresher's resume. What are the components of resume? These are the components. So any resume, it will start with objective, qualification and additional qualifications, certifications, or technical skills. Area of interest or areas of interest, there is a difference, I'll tell you later. Co-curricular activities. What are the co-curricular activities in general, mini and major projects, technical club activities and paper presentation and paper publications also. And extracurricular activities, in general it is social club activities, leadership roles, cultural activities, sports activities. And if you have achievements, achievement can be in anything, in academic, co-curricular, extracurricular. If you have achieved, if you have won award or a reward or prizes, you can have a separate kind of heading called achievements where you can mention about it. Then followed by the personal details where you need to mention about your personal interest, hobbies, and the probably your father's and mother's name if required, and their occupation and your contact detail. And personal skills where you are good at, what you are named for. And if you remember, when I asked you to write about you within 30 words, you have reflected about yourself in a 30 word. In such a way, you need to tell about what are the skills it is, it will reflect when somebody calls you a name. So that kind of your personal skill set should be given as a personal skills. Now we'll go one by one. What is the layout of the resume? So in general, you assume that all the resumes in general it is prepared in a MS Word document. Then it probably you can convert into a PDF, you can send to them. But in general, basically you will prepare in a Word. So when you prepare in a Word, always open a new document, make sure that you are setting 1 inch margin on all 4 sides. Left, right, top, bottom, there should be a 1 inch margin. And you may wonder, why do we need to give 1 inch margin? Because whenever you submit a resume, the official, they'll take a printout, they'll need to file it. When they file it, when you have a 1 inch margin, then only they can punch it, they can put a hole it, then they'll be able to file it. Otherwise, if you use complete, you don't use any margin. When you punch it and when they file it, the very important information may not be visible to them. In case you have one company HR has a file with piles of resume, when he opens it, he will not take every resume out of the file and he will see it. Just he will turn the pages. So when he turns, he has to see the entire information about yourself. So when you leave 1 inch margin, so nothing will be hidden, so everything will be able to see that. But in case if you don't leave margin, the left side, if you don't leave margin, so when they file it, automatically they have to punch it with some of the information will be hidden, probably the major information, some of his skill set, other thing you could do, probably when they, hastily when they search for it, some key information may be missed. That's why the main reason of the margin is when they file it, it will be there in the file properly. When they get it back also, they'll not miss the major information. And second important thing, the subheading. And I'll be showing at the end of the presentation some model resume. And the subheadings need to be bold, do not underline. You should only bold, you should not underline. And third thing, use same font throughout the resume. Don't try to change it, because somebody will use in the beginning one font, every heading they'll be using different font. That is not really advisable. And about the spacing, you can go with the double spacing if you have only very less information, so that you can spread across 2 pages. In case you have too many information, you want to condense within the 2 pages of resume, you can go to the 1.5 spacing. Probably you have too much of information, but 1 spacing is really not advisable because it will be too congested. So better you use only minimum 1.5. In case if it goes to the 3rd page, no problem, you can go ahead, because when you have too much of information, when you stretch the information to the 3rd page, that is not a problem. But you have very less information, but you are stretching to the 3rd page, it is not really advisable because they don't like it. And what are the recommended fonts? Times New Roman, it can be a 12 font size, or Arial 11, or Georgia 11, Calibri, you can go with 11. These are the 11 font size. And Lucida Sans Unicode also you can go, that will be also you can go with 11 or 10. And next, after this setting up the page in the Word document, the margin and identifying the font and everything, now you will be, for first thing you will start writing about your objective. So when you write about your objectives, the first thing you need to clearly state your objectives. If you mention unclear objective, the first impression itself becomes a bad impression, you are rejected. So you have to be very careful. Objectives should reflect your original skill set. Please avoid using the cliche statement in the objective like I am seeking a challenging career to show my skill. I am expecting a challenging position to bring out my inner potential so that I can be an asset to the company. These are the cliche statements. Everybody will use it. If you go to the internet, you find these kind of objectives, you cut, copy, paste, no way it may not be related to you. So please make sure that whatever you are writing in the objective, it really does reflect you, your personality, your character, your attitude, your skill set. That's why it is always advisable, you cannot prepare objective within 5 minutes. You need to spend minimum 1 week, full 7 days time to write a rough draft, then you refine it, then you change it, add it, delete it, and you have to keep fine tuning your objective so that at the end you will have a perfect objective. That's why if you are first time if you are preparing your resume, please take minimum 1 week time to make your objective. Number 1. Number 2, set an objective. You cannot go with the same objective to all the companies. In case you are as an engineering fresher, when you apply to the software companies, when you apply to the core company, whatever the objective you state in the software company cannot be the same for the core company. So when you prepare to the core company, you need to modify your objective according to the job requirement. So that's why when you prepare resume, when you start, what are the ideas you have to apply, what are the jobs you have in your mind to apply, make sure that you are preparing the objectives based on those jobs, so that in case you require 3, 4 or 5 objectives or 3 objectives, you prepare in the beginning itself. Only you can change the objectives according to the company, because you need to slightly modify the resume based on the job requirement. So that time the objective also need to be changed, so you can change the objectives according to the requirement. Is that clear? Do you understand are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next comes qualifications. In the qualification, you need to add your educational qualification in the reverse chronological order. What do you mean by reverse chronological order? Reverse chronological order means it is just what you will have to just opposite. You have to give the latest first. Normally in the fresher resume it will start from 10th, 12th and degree. So you cannot give first 10th, then 12th, then degree. No, not in that order. That is chronological order. Now we need to follow the reverse chronological order, the straight opposite. First give the latest first. That is degree. That is BE means you have to mention about BE. Then if you have a diploma, then 12th, then 10th. In that way you have to go ahead. So the reason is they want to know more about your latest degree. That's a very important thing. That's why you have to give latest degree first. And what are the way you can give in the qualifications? Probably you can follow 2 format. One is tabular format, where you can give a tables 10th, 12th, and you can mention about the degree or the education. Then you need to tell about the school or the institution. Then you have to talk about percentile or the CGPA. And you can, if it is required, you have to mention about the board of exams, whether board bar university. For 10th and 12th it will be a board. It can be a state board, international board or a CBSE board. And degree it can be university. That's why you have to mention board bar university. Then you can mention about the university. And whenever you use tabular column, please be careful, because when you add tabular column in the Word document, if you send the same Word document to the companies, when they open it, it will get dysfunction. The reason is the table form properties of the table will change when the person open in the new system. That's why it is always advisable after making, in case you are very fond of table and you have added all those things, at the end kindly convert your Word document into PDF so that nothing will change. Nobody can edit, so you can send that particular PDF format to them. And next comes additional qualifications. Here comes in case you do some other degree. In case in the UG level you may not have anything. Probably when you do PG, post graduation, During that time, you may do some other what you call online courses or some other additional degree in the through distance mode. You can do that. That time you may add that is additional qualification. Or if you have a certifications, all the important certifications, especially your discipline specific certification comes into the what you call additional qualification category. Say, for instance, if you are a computer science engineering student and you have the certification in Python, you have certifications in Java, or you have certification in the blockchain. These are the latest technology. So when you have these certification, it can be considered as additional qualification, because apart from your degree, you have a special certification on these things that can be added as additional qualification, or you can mention as a certification. The title can be as a certifications. And in the certification, very important thing, there are people, they'll do only for the namesake certification. That will not be accepted. Just a minute. Okay, in the additional qualification, as I told you, you have to add your certifications and the other degrees. And next comes certifications. And I have told you about the certification, but there are certain important things you have to know about the certification. Please do not enter namesake certificate courses details in the certification. There are some certification you do for the namesake and you get certificate, you'll add it. Because in general, when you mention about your certification, they'll think that you know the better information about those courses. So they'll definitely ask a lot of questions in case if it is interview. So do not enter any namesake certificate courses. Number one. Number two, enter certifications which took minimum 4 weeks and beyond. Otherwise, in the hours basis, it should be minimum 30 hours and beyond. And in case you feel to mention that something which is less than 30 hours also, you feel that is very important, then you can mention it. But in general, when you go for the job placement, better you need to have minimum 30 hours course as a certificate course, then only it will be really valid. But when you take something for 10 hours, 15 hours, and there are certain online courses available for 10 hours and 15 hours, and they don't believe that you can learn you can learn more stuff within 10 to 15 hours. That's why better, if in case you want to add as a important certification, better mention how many hours it took to complete the course, probably in terms of days or in terms of hours you have to mention, and what you have learned exactly from that certification also should be given within bracket as a small write-up within maybe probably 15 to 20 words. Then you have to mention the certificate, where did you obtain that certification, that those details should be given clearly, and the time period you have taken the certification, which particular day. For example, in 2020, you started in, for example, November 5th to November 30th you have taken. You have to mention everything clearly. The reason is, they'll check how much you are relevant, how much you have taken the certificate recently, or whether it is really accepted or not accepted, they'll decide. So all the time details also very much essential. And next comes area of interest or areas of interest. It's completely technical. So after completion of your degree, probably you are in now if you are a fresher, you may not know this, but once you get into say third year and final year, second year, third year and final year, in your core subject, certain subjects will become your favorite subject. That is, you want to excel in that particular subject. You want to study more on those subjects because you will have a more interest and passion. You will become passionate toward that subject. That is what area of interest. So in that area of interest, in general, a candidate is expected to have a better knowledge than the other subjects. There may be 20 core subjects in your course. Probably when you mention about 1 or 2 areas as a core areas of interest, then they'll be expecting you that definitely will be having a complete knowledge on those particular area. That's why when you mention about the area or areas, area means singular, areas means plural. In case you have only one area, mention only one that particular one subject. In case you have 2 areas interested, you can mention 2, 3, it depends upon. But in general, it is advisable to have either 1 or 2, because you cannot say that 5 areas of interest. How can a fresher can be really good at in 5 areas? That is absolutely not possible. That's why the better is 1 or 2. That's it. And you need to be very strong in this particular area. You must learn nook and corners of that particular subject area. So that area, what I mean here about subject. the particular field. That's what I'm saying as an area. Then you have to, otherwise area of interest, or you can call it as a field of expertise. In that way also you can call this particular heading. And you need to know a lot of information. Please always be prepared to get more questions on this particular field, and you must be able to answer all those questions. And very important thing, please give double effort to become really good at in these things. Please think twice and thrice before mention what is your area of interest in your, what you call, in your resume. Next comes, what's the difference between co-curricular and extracurricular activities? Whether anyone, do you know what is co-curricular, and is there any difference? What is the difference between co-curricular and extracurricular activities? Anybody? Any idea?
The co-curricular activities are the activities which are already present in your syllabus, or it is organized, and the extracurricular are ones which you do on your own, or is it's outside the the ring of activities?
Yes. You are partially correct. It's very simple. All co-curricular activities will be oriented towards your academics. Extracurricular, it is beyond academics. And because its curriculum is a syllabus, you know that. Co-curriculum, it will be a value addition to the syllabus. That's it. Through this activity, you are adding values to the extra learning. That's what you are learning more. That's why it is called co-curricular. Extracurricular means it's beyond the curriculum. Beyond the curriculum, you want to learn certain things, so you learn it. That type of activities comes into the extracurricular activity. Do not confuse co-curricular and extracurricular. And what are the co-curricular activities? That's what mini projects and major projects. Mini projects you will be doing in every year. Probably as a PBL projects or mini projects you will be doing it. Major projects in general you will be doing it the final year or third year or final year you will be doing that thing. And then comes internships or internship or industry in-plant training. Both way the people call it. When you go for internships and in-plant training, we will go to the company, you will get training on that particular field. In general, it will be on your field of interest. Normally internship, based on your core subject, you will go to the company, you will apply the core subject learning in that particular company. So that will give you a hands-on experience to you. So those details will have a very valid. In case you have too many internships, absolutely it is a great value addition to your resume, and you have a great chance compared to other students. You will have a better chance to get selected. Then comes technical club activities. All the technical club, only technical club. In case you have a Computer Society of India, IEEE, or maybe SME, Society of Mechanical Engineers, or in that kind of thing, any something which is highly related to a subject, that type of club activities comes into the co-curricular activity. That type of details you need to give in the co-curricular activity. Then comes paper presentations. Paper presentation can be in two. One is paper presentation in conferences, paper publication in journal. So when you go for national, international conferences, when you present your paper, that is called paper presentation. And when you go for journal publication, you will publish your paper in national, international journals, that is called journal publication. And if you take all these four categories, each one, what are the things you are expected to mention in your resume? First one, briefly describe about your projects. In case you have too many, you have, if it is only one project, too many means projects, plural. And your contributions and learning through your project. See, what did you contribute in the project? How did you do that? And in case it should reflect, you must talk about the objectives of your project. What were the methodologies you have employed? What are the analysis you did? Finally, what was the, where the findings? You need to mention all these things clearly. But you do not have find space to mention all these things in detail. Probably within 50 words or 60 words, in case if you find it very important project, you have to give a brief summary of the project, including all this information. For mini project and major project, both you have to mention only in this format. And mainly always don't forget to highlight your important learnings from your project, as well as the important contributions you have made through this project. And internships, same thing. You have to mention clear detail about the company, the period of internship, because whether it's a 1 week internship or a 1 month internship or a 2 month or whatever the time taken, you have to mention clearly, and important responsibilities you handled during your internship. What type of job or role they have assigned you during the internship or industry training or in-plant training, and you have to mention about those things clearly. And was there any outcome of your internship? Then if there are any, and you have to mention about that also. And sometimes the companies provide feedback about their intern. So you have to, in case if they provide you the feedback, if it is a really very positive feedback, definitely you can include in the internship category. That, for example, I was rated as the best intern during that time. Probably out of 10 point scale, I got 8. In that way, you can mention. It means that when company personnel rates you in a very high rating, it means that you are very good at your hard skill. That is subject knowledge. Because in the internships, generally it is a core job, core training you are taking. So when you are really performing well, it means that you are really, you have a good potential to perform very well. That you can mention about in case you have a feedback from the company personnel. Then about technical club activities, here you have to mention your role in the club. What kind of role, whether you are a member, have you had any leadership position, or what type of work you had done, or you involve yourself, or with your teams. You have to mention all those things. And very importantly, please highlight your major exposure you have achieved through the club and as well as learning. This major exposure and learning through club and the project and everywhere, this is a very important thing, because whatever you do, you should tell the company, in case assume that when you go for an interview, you tell them what did you get, what are the exposure you have got it from that particular thing, and what did you learn. All those things you need to always highlight it. And again, why you have to explain about your responsibilities, because based on the responsibility, we can understand what type of position you had in the club. It will again give us some other picture, a beautiful picture about the personality. In case you are a club manager, you had a position of club manager, it means that you must be a very good person. You could have been a very good person, very good leader. Otherwise, you could have not got the leadership position. So these things will help you to project what type of person you are. That's why you have to mention about what type of responsibilities you handle, what type of position you have occupied in your club. All those things you have to mention clearly. And paper presentation, in case you have presented a paper, mention the paper title and which conference you have presented and which date, which institute. All those things you have to mention clearly, so that in case you have presented a paper in IIT, you have presented a paper in international conference or somewhere else, probably these are the things. Again, it will give you some extra points to prove that you are really a worth candidate. And when you publish a paper in journal, journals, when you publish, generally you have to use APA style. There is a referencing style. It is called APA style. I'll be telling you later. And in that style format, you have to mention about author name, the journal title of the paper, then journal name, then the year of publication. That's some format you have to follow, and in that pattern you have to mention. They'll understand whenever you published a paper in journal in the UG itself, it means you are really good. Absolutely, you are really good, and you will get a great advantage, especially when you go for MS. This is taken, you will have a special bonus mark for this paper publication. And next comes extracurricular activities. These are the social club activity, leadership roles, cultural activity and sports activities. Let us see one by one. Similar to technical club activities, same thing here. You have to mention your role in the club and the work you have done, the major exposure and learning through the club activity. Same thing, what you have done in a technical, similar thing you have to mention in social club. That is the technical learning. Here it is general learning. So the format is almost same, only the activity is different. And leadership role, this one, there is a separate column called leadership role, which comes in the extracurricular activity. It is not necessarily be a leader in a club or anything. It can be any other leadership. For example, a class tutor, not tutor, probably you can say class representative, probably you are a student council member, or cultural council member, or a sports council member, or any other general student body, or any other general, except these clubs. If you have any other opportunity in your institution to become a leader, now you got that position, you can mention that. Again, you can clearly mention that position and what are your responsibilities, you can mention clearly. So when you have one or two leadership roles you have occupied during your college days, absolutely it is a proof for your leadership. So when there is a question about whether you are a good leader, there won't be any question. Already based on this role, they'll identify that you can be a good leader. When the company wants to select, you want to become a lead, if they want to make you as a lead of a team, absolutely this will be a very valid point. Then cultural and sports activities, and both you can, very important thing, please do not mention mere participation, because you know very well there are cultural functions simply for the namesake. The team member 7, there will be a minimum requirement of 7, you will be 6. So for the namesake, you will add one person to your team and you will ask him, he will be, in case if it is a dance, he will be in the last thing, you will not be visible to everyone. So such kind of namesake thing, please do not mention. It is common to both the sports and the cultural activity, unless you are really strong in the particular cultural and sports activity and you have done it for the namesake. And please do not mention those certification, those prizes in the what you call in the category. Only if you are strong in that particular skill, you mention it. Otherwise, because absolutely they'll ask you a lot of questions on that. In case you are not a dancer, but you are mentioning that you have got a lot of prizes in dance, then they'll ask you what is the difference between what you call different types of dance, what is ballet. And if you do not know, obviously they'll understand that you have given a lies. The very important thing in the resume writing is you are not supposed to give any fake information in the resume. Everything must be true. If you give fake information, the moment they identify that it's a fake information, they'll reject you. So be very careful on that part. Next comes achievements. All your major, here again, apart from the club activity, cultural sports, what are the achievements, the prizes you have won? You can give a separate subheading called achievements, where you can mention about the prizes you have won, the recognition you have got, both in academic, even if you are the topper of the class and you have won some awards in the annual day or anything. All those prizes are very important achievements, can be brought under the category of achievements. Again, it will highlight what type of personality you are. And if you do not have major achievements, please do not create any separate column as achievements. Only if you have major achievements you create, otherwise don't create. Then after this, the last one, it will come the personal detail, where father's name and occupation, mother's name and occupation. These things are optional. These are not very essential, but in case the company requests, you can give it, otherwise you can avoid giving. Date of birth is essential because they want to know your age, absolutely, it is very important. And hobbies, absolutely need to give hobbies. And hobby, when it comes for hobbies, you need to know the difference between hobbies and pastime activities. Hearing music, it is not a hobby, it is a pastime activity. Listening to music is only hobby. Hobby means through that particular activity, you enjoy doing that, you learn something out of it. Whereas pastime activity, it is only for a time pass thing you do that. That's pastime activities are not hobbies. Hobbies, gardening is a hobby, cooking is a hobby. But you cook for the namesake, you do the cooking. That is not a hobby. Hobby means interestingly you will go prepare a recipe and you serve to other people, you enjoy doing that thing, that become a hobby. But something for a time pass, you are really feel bored and you want to try something, that is not a hobby, that is pastime activity. Whenever you are bored, you want to try something, that is not a hobby, that is a pastime activity. Hobbies are the activity which you love to do, you enjoy to do that. When you involve in that activities, you really feel very happy about it. That type of activities are hobbies. Then personal skills, you have to mention about what are the skill set you are really good at. For example, you are a problem solver and you are a highly analytical person, you are an extrovert and you are the goal oriented, some kind of the skills you are really good at, please kindly mention it. Do not mention about the skills you are bad about it. The personal skill, here you have to mention about only the skills you are good at. And these are the sample resume and the certain model. You can see that. But this is the, if you want to make this type of resume, let me take, and okay, the detailed things I'll tell you because something may not be visible to you. But simply you can see that the photograph, the name, and what type of, it is about a software engineer resume. And software engineer and the career, it is an experienced person resume. Then what are the career he already handled, his contact phone number, mail ID and the address. Look at this is interesting thing for his personal interest and personal skill. He has used to only the swimming, cricket, traveling, maybe painting, photography, this one even I am not sure, and he has used some of the pictures. So you can use some pictorial representation to tell about your interest. This is an interesting way. Look at there again for the experience and education, all these things also they have used certain images and the where he have worked from which company to which company, what is the time. Normally this is applicable to only experienced person, not to the fresher. And this is also about these are the different layouts. This is one layout because you can see that for these type of template resume you can download from template.net.com. I'll be showing the references at the end. You can go to that website, you can edit all the information because it is a available template. You can edit if you go to that website, that will be certain things will be free of cost, certain things you have to pay something, you can do that. Otherwise if you are good at in the Photoshop, you can do that by doing the editing, you can do the different style. This is the another one. These are the simply what you call, I am showing the layout style which you can follow. Now let me show you the one more example, just a minute. If you look at this particular style, normally you can see this is a very what you call typical style prepared in the Word document. You can see in the on the top left hand side you have to mention your name. The address is not necessary nowadays, only you can mention only your name, email and mobile number on the top. After that, career objective, that's already told you that. See here there is a mistake in this resume. See, I already told you either you need to bold. See, only bold is you are not supposed to use the colon, remove the colon. Then again underline is also not required. Only it should be bold, that's it. And again caps also not required. You can go with the title caps. First letter caps you can go. That looks good actually. Only you go this format. Do not underline, do not use colon. And look at look at this particular objective. I would like to be a part of an organization where I could use and enhance my knowledge and talent for the development of both the organization and myself. It's a very typical cliche objective. This is how you cannot write. You must change. You have to tailor-made your objective based on the need. Please change it and you spend time, identify your skill set. Then just you go with the rough draft, then finally try to change it and finally come to the conclusion. Final objective. Do not use already available objective in the internet. That is not made for you, that is made for somebody else. And academic profile here, that's what already, this is a tabular column. Again, you should not underline and colon, you have to remove. And see that they have mentioned about the highest degree and then HSC, SSC and all those CGP and year of passing. And that is also important. You must mention when did you complete that particular course. Because I didn't tell you during that time you have to mention. Then technical skills, they have mentioned about what are the technical skills they are really good at. If you want to add a separate thing instead of the personal skill, that is separate. Technical skill also you can mention as a separate topic where you all the good of where you are good at. And here you can see the areas of interest. He has mentioned two things. One is OBS, object oriented programming structure concept, and database management system. So there are two. That's why it is areas of interest. And training and certification. This is not really good because there is no detail about SSL education, C certification. What is SSL education? When did he do that? What is the duration of the certification? Nothing is given here. So you have to add detailed information about those things. What did you learn? What is your important exposure? All those things. And here again, look at there. He mentioned about the company, but he didn't tell about what is he has mentioned about 1 week. That's good. Company name, but he didn't mention about what did he learn from that. That is important. Same thing here also in industrial visit. So industrial visit, you can even, if you feel that certain industrial visit is really important, you can mention. Otherwise, there is no need to mention industrial visits and all. And projects undertaken, I think it's a major project. So you can mention about, he has mentioned title, what language, since he is a computer science student, he has mentioned about the language used and description. It's a team project, so we mentioned about the team size and role, what kind of activity he has done it. So he has clearly mentioned it. So you can go in this format also, or as a one paragraph, including all those information also you can mention. And personal skills, that's what he has mentioned as personal assets. So thus you can mention about, he has talked about hardworking, honest, willingness to learn and all those stuff. Whatever you are good at, you can mention. And achievements and awards, as I already told you that he secured centum in mathematics and got best student award in school. All these things you can mention, but always highlight the awards which you have got in your colleges. It's certain things when you are really good at certain things in your school days also you can mention about it, but always highlight the things which you have achieved in latest. And the last one is a personal profile, and where he has mentioned about the name, father's name, mother's name. Here nowadays, instead of name, you have to mention about the occupation, because sometimes they want to guess what type of person you are. So when they know about your father and mother occupation, they may guess that what type of person you are. That is the reason they may ask you to give father's and mother's name and occupation. Name is not required much, but occupation may be required. The date of birth and the sex is also important, because certain names looks like a male name, or it may be a female name also. That's why it is better you have to mention the sex also, whether male or female. And I think nationality and other things are not required. Marital status, nobody will be married in the fresher. In case if you are married, you can use it, otherwise you can leave it. And nationality, because since you are in 90%, 99%, there won't be any change in this, so no need. And languages known, you can mention absolutely. Probably you can tell about what are the languages, English, Tamil, whether you are good at reading, speaking and writing, everything you can mention. And hobbies, as I already told you that reading books, listening to music, playing carom, all are hobbies. But definitely they'll ask you a lot of questions on these things. And nowadays, declaration, all these things are obsolete. No need to use these things. In case if you want to use it, no need. But in the olden days, people usually they ask to declare. The reason is, whenever you give a fake information, they'll take this resume and they'll just fire you, because already you have declared that it is self-declaration that whatever the information you are given is correct. In case later if they identify that some information are wrong in your resume, then they may fire you from the web. That's the reason. And these are the things you have to follow. Then as I already told you, what are the references. So this is the website. Probably you can refer, and template.net. And these are the two templates I already have shown you. That is, these are the templates I have taken from that particular website only. The 2154 and 118 template model. You can go there just to go. There are numerous templates available. You can check and you can do that thing. Is that clear? Is it fine? Okay. If you have questions, you can ask me now.